Thank you. We're going to pull a card for this next session too, and just call them in. These are the most gorgeous deck of cards I've ever seen, by the way. I don't know if anybody else here collects card decks, but I have a lot of them. Because when I shifted my idea of fun from dancing on stages in dark bars to finding my light, I changed my idea of fun, and my idea of fun turned into playing with my angel cards, surrounding myself with my crystal friends. So redefining your idea of fun might also be one of the sacrifices that you make. A lot of things can change for you and through you. There we go. All right, so the card that we got is look for a sign. So whatever it is that's coming to you, whatever it is that you are unsure about, if you're going, wait, she's telling me to do what? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm asking you to look at yourself. You're the one who's going, oh, that's what I'm going to have to do? If you're looking for clarity on that, ask for a sign. The angels can be very, 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 very clear with signs. I had one woman, I did a reading with her. It was a referral, long distance reading. So no real, connection between us other than what it is that I offer. And I told her at the end of the reading, she'd never done anything with the angels. She was never really a meditator. She just wanted to call a psychic to learn more about her life. So I told her at the end of the reading, I said, Archangel Michael is really wanting to connect with you, like badly. So start opening yourself up, start tuning into it. And I said, he's going to show you a sign. So look for something blue. I was like, I know that's super vague. Like, look for something blue. There's blue everywhere, right? And she sent me a message like 15 minutes later she was eating a Caesar salad. She was, I swear there was nothing blue in it at all. And on a crouton, there was it was like someone took one of those smelly magic markers and like colored blue on it. She was like, I have no idea where this came from or what it is. But she was like, I believe, I'm sold, I'm in. So like the angels show up in all sorts of weird different ways. But when you're open to looking for what the signs are, and you're open to seeing them, my rule of thumb is that if you think something is a sign, then it is. Plain and simple. If you're like, oh, that's a sign, then it is. If you need another confirmation, they will send you another confirmation. If you need another confirmation, they will send you another confirmation. Your angels are not going to get exhausted with you. You're going to get exhausted with checking yourself. James said the self-abuse earlier. Now, my coach, the woman that I work with, she says that indecision is self-abuse. I could not agree more. She said that first time I heard it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I'm like, well, let's weigh all the options. And when is the deadline that this choice needs to be made at? Like, who's counting? Do we really have to do that? And, I mean, holy moly, if I didn't start making decisions, we wouldn't all be here. So really looking at what are you teetering on? What are you tolerating? How long are you going to let it be there? And look for a sign. Ask for support. We're going to take a quick minute here, though, and connect in with the angels. So being aware and present with your energy. Looking at your bubble, bringing your aura to 18 to 24 inches around your body. If you're feeling like it's important to make separation from the person next to you, please do so. In your head at this moment, go ahead and choose a color that is yours today. Note if that song is stuck in your head, if you have a song that's dancing around your head right now, go ahead and place it into the basket of a balloon. See a helium balloon in front of you. Tie a basket to it and go ahead and just simply let that song sit in that basket and float away. So you can be with yourself. I honor and ask that the angelic presence please make themselves more known. Yes, so please turn up the energetic frequency of the angelic realm that is with us at this time. We go ahead and call in Archangel Michael to this space. Thank you for continuing to show up. Thank you for continuing to teach us. Thank you for continuing to heal us. Simply ask that you be with us in this space to offer protection and guidance, healing and awareness. Call in and ask that Archangel Ariel also join us in this space. Call in Archangel Ariel, recognizing the resonance to Remy in each and every one of these rose quartz crystals that are being supercharged by the energy that we have cycling through. And simply observe. Your primary focus here is your energy. Know that the energy of the space is being managed, is being watched. So for you to be aware of what is moving through your space is all you need to do here. Archangel Ariel, we thank you for opening our hearts, for showing us how to love fiercely, for showing us how to love unabashedly, for healing our hearts of past wounds, of past pains. Thank you for loving us truly, madly, deeply, and unconditionally in every way. We also ask for the invocation of Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael vibrates at an emerald green tone. So noticing where in your body are you resonating at that emerald green tone. Where is it that your body lights up as Archangel Raphael comes into the space? We ask that any and all energies that are not vibrating at these frequencies to be released from the bodies of the people that are here, to be released from this space as they are not welcome. We ask that you shine light on the darkness within ourselves so that we may become more familiar to it, so that we may love ourselves even more fiercely, so that we may release unworthiness, self-judgment, self-abuse, self-criticism, self-punishment, self-betrayal. Thank you for bringing in the energy that's showing us how to be ourselves in the fullest, the full expression of our inner world, the full expression of our inner light, each as individuals in bodies. Thank you for showing us and supporting us as we consciously jump into the next step of our own abilities. And Archangel Raziel vibrating at a deep violet and rainbow today. Recognizing Raziel as the magician, showing us how to be alchemists in our own right, using our intuitive abilities to transmute, to shift, to change the frequency within ourselves. Because it is not until we change a frequency within ourselves that we may change the frequency of others. So thank you, Raziel, for showing us to teach, for showing up to teach us the way that you know best. Honor and appreciate Archangel Metatron for maintaining the energy of the space, working with the Arcturians or the Guardians. Also acknowledging the Pleiadians for camouflaging the space that we are in. Thank you. All right, and so simply feel what you feel. Notice what you notice. Go ahead and release a brand new grounding cord. Drop the one you have existing and release a brand new one down to the center of the earth. Knowing that any body sensations that you feel in this next portion are going to simply be energy that is releasing from your body. You may make your grounding cord wider if you would like to release more energy, simply letting it purge in an effortless way. As you simply pay attention and get out of your own way, you'll be able to see and feel yourself even more fully and deeply. So nice big giant golden sun, filling yourself back up. Your present time energy. When you're ready, inhaling in through the nose and exhaling, breathing that golden sun energy into your space, connecting in with your root chakra down through your grounding cord, filling yourself and healing your grounding cord all at once. All right, go ahead and brush off the crown of your head. It's a very pleasant ring. What a nice way to end that. All right. Feel a little bit different in here? Whew. You guys are all a little bit more blurry to me. It's kind of funny. Ooh. All right, so stepping into your power. I was at a event down in Las Vegas a couple weekends ago. And one of the things that I noticed and I learned there was that there were people who were there who unabashedly owned their exact purpose, their exact reason for being, and fully owned it and fully stepped into it, unlike any other beings that I had ever seen in my life. One of them, her name was Dea Doba. And this woman is from Australia. She travels the world going to sacred sites, very ancient sacred sites. She brings recording material, and she tunes in to the lines of the planetary grid, and she channels this ancient ancestral music through the tone of her voice. Her songs are unlike anything you've ever heard before in your life. I can guarantee you that. It is the most unique, beautiful sounding voice, presence, everything. The whole room changes. She travels the globe going to these sacred sites with her husband and her kids, and then goes and speaks at conferences about the planetary grid lines, what they're doing, how our government is using them, how star families, aka as we would call them aliens, are using them, how the angels are using them. She has just matter-of-factly stepped into her soul's purpose. She's also noted that when she is there channeling in these sacred sites, the reason that she does it for her, because let me tell you, if you're not in this room for you right now and you're not continuing to go on this journey for you, your journey is going to fall flat. Yeah, you can do it because you want to save the weight of the world, but if you're not doing it because you want something out of it too, it falls flat. So for her, part of it is that when she's there channeling, she gets to feel the ancientness of her soul. She tunes into the lifetimes that she's spent previously. There's a clip in this little video that we were looking at that showed her eyes when she was in that space, and you could just, it was like unconditional love just pouring out of her eyes, that resonance with her soul. She taught me so much just by being her. She didn't come up to me and say, I'm going to teach you something. She just showed up. She just showed up as herself. She showed up as her being. She showed up in her full power. Okay. So as big as we want to get, we can absolutely get, and then we step into it. Do I need Beyonce a little bit? Hi, everybody. Can you hear me now? Okay. So what I'm saying is that when we step into and when we want to claim our power, we can do that 100%, that space is already open for us. That space already exists for us to live as big and as fully as we want to and as we can. We don't have to design it. We don't have to push our way through. We don't have to prove it to anybody. We don't have to do anything other than to show up. That's it. We just show up as we're meant to be, and we step into this place that we don't have to wiggle into, that we don't have to try to suck it in to fit in. So are you ready for that? You guys want that for yourselves? You can own it. Because you already have it. That's the funny ha-ha part. Is you already have it. So your very specific reason. Anyone know what your very specific reason for being here is? It will change. I can guarantee you that. This idea of your purpose will change as you grow. It will evolve as you evolve. Totally and completely. I don't even remember like the moment that I found mine out or what happened, honestly, I don't really know. What I do know is that there was a moment for me when I realized that I was here to facilitate awakenings. Okay, well, that's great. How am I going to facilitate awakenings? Like, how am I going to wake people up? It's kind of crazy. And first of all, who wants to listen to me? Anyone hear that in your head? Who wants to listen to me? Who's going to have to hear what I have to say? I used to think that too, and now you guys are here. That's a pretty good measurement. That as you start to step into it, people will show up. This event already existed. We've already reached the end. We've already reached the 5 years, what happens after this. Time does not exist. It does and it doesn't. We experience it in a linear form in our third dimensional reality. In multiple dimensions of awareness, it already has happened. Now, I don't know about you, but that gives me an extraordinary peace of mind. Like an extraordinary peace of mind. Because I can just chill out. Knowing that if I just do the next right thing, and the next right thing, and the next right thing, that I'm going to eventually get to my spot. I'm not there yet. But it's the next right thing. And that to me is just a big fat relief and load off, because I don't have to try to come up with an outline or a PowerPoint of life to get myself there. So, you have a spot to claim. The characteristics of an influential healer. And I'm going to go over these, and I also want to have the, small print, the asterisk at the bottom, that maybe you're in this room because you want to be an influential healer. Maybe you're in this room because you want something different. And that is totally and completely okay. I'm not here saying that everybody in this room has the same purpose of being an influential healer by any means. So use these bullet points and use these ideas as a way to start to see what are the characteristics that's important for you to start to step into as you own your spot, as you claim your spot, as you step into your power, as you really start to develop who it is that you want to be and who you want and how you want to be seen in the world based on your inward expression. I am making a new friend up here. There's a fly like buzzing around my face. Okay, so characteristics of an influential healer. They have found high-level training to learn about and working with energy safely. Has anybody met somebody that's working with energy that has no idea what they're doing and just throws it around? Get it, girl. It's dangerous. I am going to tell you right now, it is dangerous. If you do not know what you're getting into, you can get into some gnarly stuff, and it literally can cause death. It can cause severe disease. It can cause severe injury in people and places and things. If you do not know what you are doing, settle down and start to learn from people who do. It can be terrifying and frightening. Seriously, that's just a huge caution, because I'm not here saying that I'm the best by any means, but I am here saying that I have experienced some pretty scary stuff from not protecting myself properly, from not doing what I was taught or what I was shown to honor my own self and my own light. I have brought beings home with me from doing healings that have meant serious harm for me. I'm pretty sure I was in a car accident that was based upon the same sort of thing because I was out of my body. And so being aware that, yes, what it is that we're talking about is really important that we start tuning into it, which is why when I left this room, I really just felt like we needed to call on the angels. I know that they're here, but for all of us to consciously be on the same page and know that they are here, that we can feel their energy, that even if it's subtle, even if you're not seeing it visually with your third eye yet, that's okay, but now we're all on the same page and we all know now that they exist and that they're here and that they're with us. So, characteristics of an influential healer: they are consistent with their practice and are dedicated to their growth. Consistency is what is going to get you where you want to be. It doesn't matter if you're an influential healer or not, but the consistency of your own, the way that you show up for yourself, is what is going to be seen by others. I know that some of you are in this room because you've watched me bloom and blossom and shift and change and grow. I know that. And it's because I've been consistent with myself and my word and what it is that I want to do and how it is that I want to show up. It's taken me years to take that seriously. Seriously. All right, so they're willing to make sacrifices. We talked about the sacrifices in their lives to help others. The sacrifices are really, really important, and I will tell you that they are all worth it. No matter what you think you're losing, no matter how hard you think it is going to be that you are losing something, you're not losing something, you're gaining it. You're letting go of what doesn't fit anymore. If you are in a constant state of growth, everything is going to constantly be changing. Everything. All right. So they move through their own blocks despite how they feel. How many of you have been halted by your own blocks? You see a block and you go, ooh, who's hungry? Let's just completely ignore that this one exists. I have also worked, sidestepped my own way through it. What I will tell you is, one, what you resist persists. And if that's not the most annoying saying, I don't know what is. Really and truly. I tell someone I'm in resistance. I'm like, well, what you resist persists. I've never heard that before. Because I'm an asshole sometimes. But really, always choose the path of most resistance. Always choose the path of most resistance. Always choose the path of most resistance. Where is that going to get you? It's going to get you where you want to be faster. You want to know how to shortcut this journey? Always choose the path of most resistance. Whatever it is you don't want to do the most, do that first. Get it out of the way. Eat the yellow Skittles first. Nobody likes those. Maybe you do, I don't know. I'm a red and purple Skittle kind of lady. Really, I'm serious. I'm going to toot my own horn here. I have accomplished a lot in the last year. A lot. And I know that. I'm aware of it. Yes, I can be humble about it, and I think it's also important for us to be aware of our achievements. I think it's important for us to be aware of what it is that our goals are and aware of when we reach them. I know that I have achieved more in a very short period of time than people, my peers, people I have been working with who have been on the journey that I have been on for years, because I do my inner work. I always pick the path of most resistance. If you want your life to change quickly, do that. It might feel like you're pulling the rug out from underneath a well-designed living room, and it is going to look like chaos for a short period of time. And then you'll be able to put it all back together, and you'll be able to put it back together the way that you want to. Always pick the path of most resistance, especially when you're in a group setting, because you will always have support to get through it. Always. Melody, your smile. Thank you so much. Okay, so crystal clear on their aspirations to achieve and exceed their healing goals. We all have experienced trauma. Do you think it's fair to compare trauma? No. If you think somebody is being dramatic, I can assure you they're not. What they have experienced in their life is completely different from what you have experienced in your life. So if something seems to you like it is no big deal, and you have no idea what that person has been through, they're not being dramatic. They're speaking from a place of trauma that goes deeper than what most people understand. Because when somebody is being dramatic, they're not going to stop and say, no, let me explain to you why this matters. So being aware of what it is that's coming up and coming through for you, even if you feel like you are being dramatic. I was traumatized around the word dramatic when I was little, because I learned to be a drama queen from my mother. Now I love it. Now I love that quality about myself. But when I was little and trying to express my feelings, I was shut down and told that I was being dramatic. If I was telling her that I was hurt, I was told that I was being dramatic. And that being dramatic was a bad thing, that there was a negative connotation, that there was a judgment with it. Now I look back at where I've been through in my healing and where I have judged other people for being dramatic because that is what I was taught, and then realized we can't. We can't. None of us can. Even if you look at the things that are going on in Charleston, I don't know if any of you saw that Vice documentary, but it broke my heart wide open. I cried my way through the whole thing. And if that's not dramatic, the whole thing is dramatic. The protesting is dramatic. But why do you think that the protesting is happening? Because there's been oppression and trauma on both sides. Both sides. All sides. Are there even really two sides? No, there never really is two sides. There's 9 million all over the place. But so just being able to be aware, the reason I'm bringing this in is just for you when things come up, for you when you're talking to a friend, for you when you're going through an experience. This is simply something to be aware of in life. Recognizing when somebody is in pain rather than when somebody is trying to get attention. And if somebody's trying to get attention, it's because they're in pain and they don't know how else to express it. So to be able to find compassion within yourself when you're recognizing or knowing this or seeing this, how to be in the world, how to be aware of what's going on in the world. I don't know about you guys, but I do my best to try to not be in constant pain. To see people beating each other for, in my personal judgment and opinion, no good reason. It hurts. The more sensitive I become, the more it physically hurts. I do my best to not watch the news. How many of you watch the news? You're brave. Nice. In it? Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. And thank you for protesting. Somebody needs to say it. I'm going to stay in this room and say it. Yay, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for that. All right, so crystal clear in their aspirations to achieve and exceed their healing goals. That can go across the board. Protesting in politics, what are your goals? How are you going to heal yourself to become a warrior, to show up in that way and not get crushed? I will tell you that every single one of these nurturing, loving angels that we connect with are warriors. They have gone to battle. They have fought and pressed against what has opposed them. There is not an angel that I have not communicated with or talked to that is not also a warrior. So being aware that there's a time to shield and there's a time to be vulnerable. There's a time to brace and there's a time to love. But don't let yourself get steamrolled because you're so open-hearted that it falls out. We have to be able to show up for ourselves and what we believe in as well. All right, they're courageous in their actions, overcoming fear and insecurities with ease. That's what I'm talking about here. You can't show up for other people if you haven't shown up for yourself first. And if you're not showing up for yourself first, you're hiding. You're constantly hiding inside. What happens when you hide? Nothing. You wait. You're like, are they done counting yet? Anyone else been found? Getting kind of hungry. Get yourself out of your hiding spot. We're here. The party started. The ship's moving. Okay, forever students, understanding and respecting the connection with infinite knowledge. This is humility. What is the number one killer of growth? Ego. What's the leading cause of divorce? Marriage. You like that? When I was working at the winery, I used to tell people, when I was feeling fiery myself, I would tell them that they would have to tell me a joke before I'd pour them wine. I love jokes. Love jokes. And that was one that I remembered. I don't even know that I remember any other ones, so that one stuck. So forever student, understanding and respecting the connection with infinite knowledge. When you think that you've learned it all, you've stopped. You've stunted your growth, you're done, pack up your bags, go back to your hiding spot. Nobody wants to hear what you just learned by reading a spiritual blog that says you've got it made and you've got it handled and that you know the truth. I'm going to tell you a secret. Nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows the truth. And if they tell you they do, they're lying to you. Just like politicians. Because politicians lie. Again, if there's nothing else you take away from this, politicians lie. So thank you, Danielle, for putting up with a bunch of liars for all of us. All right, they are willing to prioritize what is important and make growth a priority. Who here has made growth your priority? Above all else, for me, Randy. Both hands up. Woo! Let's just pretend we're on a roller coaster for a second. Woo! All right. Making growth your priority is a wonderful thing. And if it isn't, that's fine too. But Randy's in my Earth Angels program, so I'm going to call him out. All right, so what has to take a back seat when you make growth your priority? Wants, kind of. I have a thing about wants. You got to redefine fun. So the desires and the wants, let's go into this, because my theory on it is that from when we are little children, we are told that we cannot have what we want. Guess where your wants come from? Your heart. Your wants, your needs, your desires come from your heart. So what are we telling each other when we say you can't have what you want? We're saying shut your heart down. We're saying don't listen to yourself. We're saying you can have what I want for you. How well is that serving you to stepping into who you want to be? It's not. Now, of course, if a little child wants to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning and you know that you've got like Sunday school, I don't know where that's coming in, but Sunday school to attend, you got to be pretty and ready to go, then obviously you have to set up some boundaries. But being able to communicate with yourself as though you are a child when you're addressing your wants, your desires, it is my true belief that your wants and your desires are coming from the inside of your heart. And the reason that they're coming from the inside of your heart is because that is your compass to your path. That is the compass to your spot. That whole thing, everything that you could ever want is within you. It's not as cheesy as what you resist persists. It's up there, right? It's pretty cliche. But have you ever actually really tuned into what that means? We put boxes around what we give ourselves and what we allow ourselves to have. We tell ourselves we can have one thing but not another thing because that other thing is just too much. Has anyone here been told they're too much? I know those two. Faux show. Sometimes they're too much for me. You know, when I was little, I would see somebody with a microphone and want to take it out of their hand and be like, that's mine. I'm not kidding. Now I have my own microphone, 2 of them at once. You know what I was also told? That I couldn't be the lead in the play that I wanted to be in. I was also told that I wouldn't be a good leader. I was also told that I was too much. I was also told that I laughed too much. Guess who's not on my speed dial? Those people. How many things were you told about yourself that crushed you, that squished you, that made you small, that made you conform? All of these things I was told, and if I would have listened, which I did for a long time, I listened to these things that people told me about me, that I smile too much. You kidding me? One of my favorite things to do is when I'm walking through an airport. The hell is so exciting about an airport? Watching people's reactions to a smile? It's hilarious. Try it sometime. I like to entertain myself. Denise, you raised your hand earlier. Did you have something to say?
I think when it comes to they are willing to prioritize what is important, make growth a priority.
Mm-hmm.
I think in my case, ego
Mm-hmm.
is holding me back. Ego doesn't want to change.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I love that you brought that into perspective too, because it is, as we talked about, the ego is the number one killer of growth. I do not believe that ego is a bad thing. Ego is a part of our makeup. So how many of you have been reading any sort of spiritual teachings and it's like, the ego is the bad guy? Because that was a thing for a while. And I don't know if it was just like a thing for like that portion of my journey for me, or if it was like a collective thing as far as the spiritual New Age community. It was like, we must like get rid of the ego. We must send the ego to this abandoned island and never talk to it again. What? And you want me to be whole and complete, but leave a chunk of myself away? That makes no sense. So looking at the ego is a part of your whole identity. The ego is it's like taking the wheels off a car and expecting the car to go somewhere. What? That makes no sense. It's exactly what I'm talking about here. So your ego, for me, my growth in this was realizing that, okay, so the ego is along for the ride. Fear's along for the ride. Insecurities are along for the ride. Nervousness, fear of abandonment, fear of judgment, all of these things are along for the ride. They're not just going to disappear. They're there. And they're there as indicators that you're reaching the outer edge of what you're capable of connecting in with. So these are all great indicators that you're starting to grow again. When you start to get fearful and agitated, or like, have you ever had that feeling where you just like want to pull your skin off? Oh my God, that was me all week last week. I'd pull my skin off. I don't fit in here anymore. That doesn't happen. So that prayer doesn't work. Just let you know that one. Tried it. But allowing your ego to be the engine behind your spiritual development. So what are you feeding your ego? It's not don't feed the ego. It's what are you feeding the ego? I knew for me to step into the role that I am in now, I had to make my face my logo. I had to get out of a community that knew me as a drunk, complete alcoholic, living in a house with prostitutes and drug dealers, to now all of a sudden, hire me, I can help you figure your life out. Well, that's a fun leap to make. Ha ha ha. And now some of the people that were part of my life in that experience are some of my biggest supporters. And it's incredible because we grow together. The people who are meant to grow with you will grow with you. But there was a part for me in recognizing that if I wanted to put myself out there, my face was going to be my logo. My whole persona, my whole person was going to be the identity that people associated with me. Now, there's a lot of image stuff that starts to come up through that. A lot of self-judgment, a lot of who's going to want to hear what I have to say, I'm not important enough, that whole song and dance, the worthiness, the shadow, who's going to judge me if they find out my past. I'll be the first one to tell you right now. Ask me any question, we'll go there. It's not pretty. But to be able to give my ego this job, I was like, okay, you're going to be in charge of the branding. Because guess what it takes to make your face your logo? It takes a bold ego. I will also be the first one to tell you that I do have a bold ego. It is not tame. It is not, riding in the very back seat of my, magic school bus. It's here. I'm very aware of it. I'm very aware of how it serves me. I'm very aware of when it doesn't serve me, and if I'm not, I have 7 reflections here in the room that see me weekly that can help me check myself, because we need each other. This is not a journey we can do alone. So looking at what is the aspect of yourself that is your egoic self that is going to allow you permission to move forward faster. Because it's there for a reason. We are humans, and we are beings, and we are humans. Have you guys ever played with that word combo, human beings, and then being human? It's like ping pong in your head. It's crazy. I suggest you try it sometime. All right. They have support through community and understands the benefits of vulnerability. Now, I was afraid of sharing this story, but I feel like it's a story that's really important. And part of the reason I was afraid to share the story is because that a lot of my stories involve my family. And there's a part of my journey that makes me fearful of actually sharing a lot of my really vulnerable truths, because I worry about protecting them. And I worry about protecting what happens in their lives based on some of the things that I share. And so there's some vulnerable truths and vulnerable parts of this story that I'm not going to actually bring to the forefront because I know that there are people in my life that are very near and dear to me who are still working through the progress of events that have happened in the past. And so that is where I draw my own line of vulnerability. I can share what happened with me, and I can share what happened in my heart and in my growth, but as far as the events that occurred, I like to protect the people I care about. So, but my biggest lesson in vulnerability, I was getting my degree in psychology from Sonoma State. I ended up there because at the winery, I noticed that people just would like spill their guts to me over and over and over and over and over again. I'm talking to my coworkers like, is this happening to you? Like, are you in a full-on therapy session? They're like, no. They're like, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, like, okay, something's happening here for me, with me. And I was actually filling out my application to go to school at Sonoma State, and my boss came into the room and laid me off. So talk about doors closing and other doors opening. Once I finally decided I was going to do something with myself, it was like, the universe was like, okay, and we're going to cut you off. Best thing that ever happened was that then I got unemployment that paid for me to go through school. Thank you, universe. I wasn't even on this path yet. I look back and I'm like, yes, they were with me then. So that was a total tangent. But as far as, I think it goes along with the theme here about making sacrifices and what it is that when you start putting energy in a direction that you are supported when you're meant to go in it. So just be aware of that. When you start to hit your trajectory and you know where you want to go for it. Don't stop, don't slow down, go for it, because you will be safe, you will be protected, you will find exactly what it is that you're looking for. Okay, so I was in an intro to counseling class. We had a classroom where the whole classroom was lined with chairs, so we all faced each other because it's intro to counseling, and it was a sherry class. And I learned a lot about sharing. We did a lot of sharing. Obviously, I'm nervous to tell this story. Okay, so we show up. It is the Monday after Thanksgiving, and we're going around. Everyone is taking their turn to share how their Thanksgiving was. Everyone took their turn. And oh, my dad was this and my mom was that and so-and-so got a little bit drunk, but it's okay, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm shaking. My body is fully sweating. I couldn't like even be with myself to the point where they got to me and I couldn't formulate words. The words weren't coming out because what I had experienced 2 days before was so traumatic that I couldn't like breathe. And now I'm in this room where 30 people are looking at me and I'm about to spill extraordinarily painful things. And this happened for me when I was in the middle of my psychology program trying to understand why I got dealt the mother that I got dealt. Why did I have friends whose moms made perfect sugar cookies and showed up at the PTA, and I had a mother that was not doing that? And so I was so deep in my own reflections and trying to understand that I was leaning so hard on my father and my stepmom, who had always been so consistent and had always been my rock when the other waters, the other side of my life was crumbling every other weekend. And so I was leaning on them, and I didn't realize how much I was, but my story was that my father was my rock. And all of a sudden, my rock exploded to like smithereens. And I was crushed. Crushed doesn't even begin to explain it. And so my teacher could see this, and she asked me if I wanted to sit in the middle of the room and do a fishbowl session. It sounds exactly like it's titled. We literally put 2 chairs in the middle of the room surrounded by everybody else looking at us, and she counseled me through the pain that I was in. I did not feel anyone in that room other than her. I didn't even feel myself for a minute there. I shared everything that was at the top of my heart. I shared everything that I had seen. I shared everything that I had witnessed. I shared what it was that broke my heart and why, and that my foundation, everything that I believed to be holding me up, was just crumbling. And I mean, this was a major turning point for me. This is when I learned that I had to stand on my own 2 feet, that there was nobody to rely on, that I had to get myself out of every situation, that there was just no support in my life. And I told myself that story. I'll tell you the story of how I figured out how support exists in my life, and I guarantee you I'll cry for that one because I can't say her name without crying. But being in that room and crying and just like not caring about judgment, when you're in that kind of pain in front of that many people, there's the thought of judgment, the thought of insecurities, the thought of all of these things that we've talked about. They don't even exist. They do not even exist. The only thing that exists is the pain, and how can I make it stop? That class changed drastically from that point on. From my share and my willingness to go and be vulnerable and share the pains that I had experienced and be that raw and be that open, that class transformed, because I really do believe that it helped to eliminate the fear that other people had about being seen, about being vulnerable, about experiencing their own pain and being seen by others in doing so. And it was a tipping point for me in understanding that, okay, if I'm the first to share something that is raw and genuine and authentic and painful or ugly or distasteful, whatever it is, then it gives everybody else in the room more permission to do the same on an extraordinary level. That alone is doing the work. If you show up in a space and there is even just one person that's willing to be that vulnerable to be seen, and you've never experienced that before, and maybe you have been that person in other times or other places where you know that the strength in vulnerability is not actually vulnerability at all. It is your biggest and best, I don't want to say defense, but it is. It's your biggest and best defense against resistance. Your willingness to be vulnerable, your willingness to step forward, your willingness to share brings other people's defenses down so that they can then see themselves more clearly. And I want you all to also know that, protecting my father in this case is that he is an extraordinary human being. He is the one in my life who has taught me to laugh hardest at my own jokes, which I know Kayla appreciates more than anybody else on this planet. But he really is. He's an incredible human being, and he's an incredible man. And I do believe that everything that happened in that experience and in that day and in that night, it was meant to happen, and it had to happen. And I know that part of it had to happen for my own growth. And I know that can sound egotistical in some way, but that's also the part of the ego that I'm asking you to look at. To start seeing when the universe conspires, including other people, but it conspires for you. It conspires to create lessons. It conspires to create these opportunities for you to experience life in a different sort of way. That you can have your own breakthroughs, and sometimes they hurt really bad. And how else would I have experienced the intensity of that growth to then share in my journey moving forward beyond that? Then something traumatic had to happen. It had to. There's no other way around that. You don't experience vulnerability without experiencing trauma and pain. You can share a story, that's great, but that's not it doesn't hold the same weight as that kind of vulnerability. So understanding the benefits of what it means to be vulnerable is going to help you on this path and bringing you into a completely different idea of who it is that you want to be and how it is that you want to show up. I'm not saying be the first person to go into a birthday party and start crying your eyes out. Time and place, you guys, time and place. It's important. More characteristics. They love first beyond all measures. Do you believe that? Who do you love first beyond all measures? Woo! Anyone else feel someone else before me? Not me, obviously. You, me. Beautiful. They're willing to be seen and heard. They know when to say yes, and they know when to say no. Repeat after me. No is a complete sentence.
No is a complete sentence.
All right. It's the third thing you're going to take away. All right. You know you're here for a reason. Why did you commit to become? Breathe. I know I'm feeling a lot of stuff up here because that was intense to share in front of everyone. So breathe. What is it that's coming up for you? What got triggered as you were listening to my story? What are the experiences in your life that you can relate to? What are the experiences that you can relate to that have held you back, that are still holding you back? Deep down, you know your life is about to change. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want it. So the fear, the resistance, the confusion, they're all really good signs. If you're sitting pretty, who's comfortable right now? Chad's stretching on the floor and he's comfortable. That's why I called him. I said, I want your comfort here. All right. So surrender to coming and going. Does the slide look familiar? To coming and going. We talked about this being the event. So now the event is a metaphor for you. Where is it that you're coming and going in and out of your own life? You are the God of your own universe. You are the epicenter of what you are co-creating in your life. So being aware that you can come and show up for yourself and you can go and bail on yourself. If you are going to bail on yourself, give yourself permission and give yourself a stopping day. I give myself breaks. I will be totally honest. I full on give myself breaks every now and then when I'm just like, I'm like so tired of feeling. I'm so done and I just need to take a hiatus. Sometimes that means going camping. Sometimes that means going out and staying out late and drinking probably 1 or 2 or 3 more drinks than I probably should. I don't feel good about it in the morning. Trust me, I have my own self-punishment to work on with that. But there's a way to take a conscious hiatus that isn't bailing on yourself. There's a way to say, okay, I've done a lot of work and I'm going to consciously give myself a break. Because you can and you deserve them. If you continue to push and 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 push, you will hit a breakdown, not a breakthrough. And if you hit a breakdown, it takes a lot to pick yourself back up from that. So taking conscious breaks from when you start doing this work and being aware of it and giving yourself an end date. For me, it's usually like one night or one afternoon or maybe a weekend where I'm just like, okay, hiatus. I got to take it. Like I said, airplane mode is a blessing. For me, it is. It means I love you, but I'm here, okay? All right. So what resistance do you have about claiming your spot? And what current limiting belief are you ready to release about your pattern? So let's go ahead and take a minute to just go within. Close your eyes. Sit with these questions. So the current limiting belief that is causing you strife. What is your upper ceiling? What is your upper limit? Saying, I can have, but I can only have this much. Look, they're cheering for you for making your breakthroughs. You're a cheering committee. Take a couple of big, deep breaths. Center yourself within your body. Know where you have gone out of your body. Have you released yourself from your body? Allow yourself to come back in. And as you breathe, watch that your aura moves with you. Your aura is not stagnant energy, but your aura is fluid. It moves. As you breathe, moving around your chakra system, through your energy channels, just breathe and notice and recognize where there are any densities. Did you, as a healer, pick up on my pain as I shared that story? Did you take it from me to try to make it better? Just simply observe, notice what you notice. Remember, we're in a playground and we're practicing here. So observing that for yourself. Did you go into fix-it mode for me, or were you more aware of your own experience? What was going on within your body? What memories were coming up for you? And go ahead and breathe and release. And breathe and release. Go ahead and take another big deep breath, exhaling down through your grounding core. Bringing a nice big giant golden sun, filling yourself back up. Letting that golden sun collect any and all energy that you've left in the past and future plans, bringing your energy back to you. When you're ready, take a nice big inhale in through the nose. As you exhale, bring that golden sun into filling your entire aura. Allowing your golden sun to be bigger than your aura, filling and transmuting any energy within your space that is stuck, that is ready to be released. Honor yourself fully and completely in this moment. That you are here, that you are feeling, that you are experiencing light, love, pain, suffering, the human experience. That your love, your spot, your identity is precious, is beautiful. The drive and the motivation that you have within your heart, your wants, your desires, those are your compasses. Create what you want. Your path will unfold. Go after your desires. Listen to your own inner guidance, your own inner compass. You are your own guru. All right. So when you're ready, just kind of move your body a little bit. If you'd like to keep your eyes closed, you're welcome to keep your eyes closed. But I'd like to hear from a few of you. What is it that's shifting for you? What is it that's changing for you? You want to share? Oh.
Hi everyone, I'm Leah. And so it was like instant, I guess, beginning, and it just keeps resonating every time we go in. I had a huge block since I was like a little girl. It was from fear, like experiencing all of those other beings around me as a little kid freaked me out, and no one understood, and I just always felt scared and alone. And when my grandmother died at 10, she was like me. She understood. I didn't have anybody then. And it just got worse after that. It was like, she must have been protecting me for a long time. Mm-hmm. And my dad never admitted to it, and not until I was like almost 40. He's like, oh yeah, I've always been like that. And your grandmother was like that too, and it's normal. And I was like, where were you all my life to not tell me that? And so it's like an awakening today, mm-hmm. to be like, oh yeah, Leah, that's why you have a block. Mm-hmm. That's why you're not connected, and you want that connection, but you're not getting it, mm-hmm. because you're not being open to that, because you put that in there when you were a little girl. Mm-hmm. And to open that up, it's been emotional. I want to like cry all the time. I'm sitting over here like
You totally can.
I'm like crying all the time. And
Array is good to cry with.
yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. Anybody? Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you sharing so much. And I know that I could feel the resonance happening as you were speaking to that and knowing. But really, Array is good to cry with. I don't know if you could put like together the consecutive moments that Array and I have both been crying at the same time together, but it's been a while. Yeah, this stuff is emotional. This stuff this stuff is emotional, and if you're not experiencing that, then allow yourself to continue to tune in. Because all that means is that there is a block around your emotions and what you've given yourself permission to feel. Oftentimes it's based on what other people have told you is okay to share and okay to feel, right? I mean, the whole idea that if you're crying, you need to go to your room. I'm not a mom, but ouch. To start the denial of feelings. It's also my true belief that the reason so many men drink in this country, I can't tell you how many women I've talked to whose partner's drinking is a problem for them. Like an extraordinary amount of female. I know that I've been in my own relationships where drinking has been the #1 issue. And so I've really looked at that. Like, why are we creating a society where there's just so much permission for men to drink more than women? And if you look at alcohol as a way to numb emotions and numb feelings, and we're telling little boys from such a young age that they're not allowed to cry, or that they need to man up, or that they need to not feel so deeply, that we're basically raising alcoholics from the beginning. We're saying, no, it's okay, you're a male. It's okay to go out drinking all night because you won't get pregnant. Did you guys hear that in high school? I'm so glad I have a boy, at least he's not going to get pregnant. What kind of bullshit is that, first of all? Holy moly. And really to be looking at what kind of a society are we creating when we're not giving men permission to feel into themselves, into their own energy, that we're creating dissonance in home lives. And if you look at the whole cycle of what that means, that's what we're here to break. Men can cry. I love when men cry. Because for me, it shows that they can feel. I don't want to date a sociopath. Maybe that's just me, but I've done it and it sucks and I don't want to do it again. So to be able to see somebody who can feel and allow themselves to cry, to me, is like, yes. And I know that that is not a collective belief. And I know that that stigma is breaking. I'm watching it. It's happening. Men are giving themselves permission to cry. I had an experience where I had a session and a gentleman who I was working with, it was like he had permission to cry for the first time in like decades. And just tears and tears and tears and tears and tears and tears. It didn't even matter what it was about. It was like all of a sudden he had permission to feel what he had been stifling for decades. So women, I know there's only so much we can do, but when we punish men for drinking because we're fed up, we can also look at the reason as to why they're drinking. What is it that's going on beneath the surface, and can we nurture that wound rather than punish or judge it? Can we nurture those sides, those aspects? Can we nurture those sides and those aspects of ourselves? Whether it doesn't even matter if there's alcohol involved or not, but looking at the nurturing of emotions. The nurturing of every single emotion has a time, a place, a feel, an aspect, a reason, a purpose. Being dramatic, there's no such thing as being dramatic. There's such thing as expressing to the fullest extent of what your experience is. So let's not judge each other for having emotions or expressing ourselves or being dramatic or telling a story bigger than you might. Because if we keep committing to ourselves to fit in these tiny little boxes, and we keep telling everyone else to fit into these tiny little boxes, all we're going to have is a bunch of people in tiny little boxes. Boring. Yep. There you go.
I really hate this.
Well, good, because I'm going to keep asking you to do it. Because I know what you want, and I know what your desires are, and I know that this is just simply a growing space.
I'm a pretty open person, and I don't have really any problem being extremely vulnerable. And I think a lot of that could be also shielding. I feel, though, like I have been extremely committed to my personal healing and self-growth, not for any other reason of what I'm going to get out of it other than healing, because I was so tired of being in those dark, very dark places. But I feel sometimes like, to touch on what you're saying now about how, you know, in our dream world, we're all accepting of that. Even as women, like I have noticed that I lose out on friendships every time. I feel like I'm in this place where I have to choose my healing or choose making a friend, because it gets scary for people. And I know that if I choose healing, it'll ripple a wave and it will plant those seeds, and I'm doing what I need to do. But it's so lonely at the same time, because you're not only losing in your entire like things that you're letting go of, it's just this flood of people and places and habits and things that are just going away. But it's so damn tiring when you don't have anyone new to share it with, you know, except for the people that, oh God, you are so out there, you are so crazy. Like, really, that again? Like, when are you gonna get over this stage? You know, that kind of stuff. And it's just frustrating to me, like, how such opportunity we have to support each other, you know, and it doesn't have to be crystals and meditation with colors and light, you know, in the public's eyes. Sometimes that's scary. It's scary. I don't know, maybe I can just encourage that today if we take anything from me. Just encourage us to build each other up more and stop doing the competition and tearing down or my spotlight. You know, we will make more, we will change the world if we're all working together instead of separately in that you know, that greed for the my microphone, you know? The microphone is apparently for everyone, and it moves and can fall and be picked up again. And I just feel like it has been really lonely for me. I still have a hard time making friends, because I, even in this room, like was talking to Kim on the way here, like I know it'll be around my people, but I still have a hard time reaching out, because you know what I mean? That fear of like, oh my God, when they get to know me, they'll be like running for the door. Like, you know, I mean, if I'm sure other people talk to the same things I talk to and see the same things I do and dream the same things, your same ways. And I'm sure there's a billion other people out there right now, same situation and alone. And that's it. That's all I'm sharing. Thanks.
Thanks for sharing. Does one of the Earth Angels want to respond to that? Partly about why the Earth Angels program was created. For me, what was my reason for creating it?
The Earth Angels program was created because Samantha was isolated and alone and not having any friends to share her stuff with. Every single one of us joined for the same reason, because we wanted community on this journey, because we knew that the dreams and the energy flow in exponential access to multiple people working together, it doesn't just double, it squares, it doesn't just triple, it cubes when you bring people together. So coming together in community, as you will all experience this weekend in this room, with the amount of energy that gets generated for shift and change, is why we do it. And every one of us gets a soul pull, and every angel here that we can or cannot see with our physical eyes is helping put those alignments of those relationships in your path as soon as you say yes. And I've been in a room alone before, knowing that, oh, I'm not going to make any friends here because they're just going to judge me and it's going to be awkward. And so I've shied away, and, you know, in past experiences, gone and had my coffee somewhere else, gone and sat by myself, taken an extra long time in the bathroom so that I could go back straight at the end of the break. Anybody recognizing that? And I realized that that wasn't going to change until I hit the own block within me It had nothing to do with anybody else's reception of me. It was my own reception of me that needed to be addressed. So welcome to the family.
Yeah, you're not alone. We're not alone. I felt really isolated. Really isolated. Again, like I mentioned, my whole family lives in Reno. You guys are my family. And I have other family. I have blood family. You guys are my family. They don't understand me. They support me. They support everything it is that I'm doing, and they love it. But when I start talking about what I do, they like, whoop. It's like I'm speaking Japanese. Literally. It's like I'm nuts. I won't until one story and then I'll stop. But I was on this cleanse, right? Organic, beautiful, lovely cleanse. I'm eating this like avocado green soup. Literally, it's like avocados and greens in a blender. Fabulous, it was so tasty. And so I'm eating it at my mom's house. There's chicken McNuggets from McDonald's for the kids. And I have an infant nephew who's so adorable. But so I'm holding him and I'm eating my green stuff. And I'm like, oh, maybe he wants some. So I like give him some. And my mom looked at me and she goes, is that safe for a baby? I was like, there's McNuggets in front of me that are not safe for a baby. But this organic avocado soup is really good for the baby. Right? We love everybody. I love, love, love my family dearly. There's no other reason I'd be sitting there holding babies, and there was chaos that night. And it was really fun, but like, I mean, puppies and dogs and kids and parents were gone. It was crazy. But we love who we love. I'm not saying don't love who you love. Don't isolate yourself. Don't extradite yourself. But maybe there's room in yourself for be able to see what perceptions is it that you have. Who is it that's influencing you in a negative way? Who are you allowing to influence you in a negative way? And who are you going to influence in a positive way? So these sacrifices aren't always, and I have sacrificed entire groups of friends. I have sacrificed just complete life. Moving to Reno was a complete, like, get me out of here, this is not right. Moving away from Reno was get me out of here, this is not right. There's just seasons that happen. And so whether it's you that can use the healing or whether it's them that can use the healing, it doesn't matter. You get to choose how you interact with these people. These people that are your loved ones, these people that are in your inner circle. So just being aware and yeah, look around. Hi, we're still not doing it alone. We're in this together. There's more of us, you guys. I feel like we're the borrowers. Did you guys ever see that movie? Yeah. Right? I feel like we're the borrowers. Go home and watch that movie, okay? Seriously. We're here, we're together. Yeah, one spotlight, doesn't matter. We can all have the microphone.